Hey, this is Notser, and today I wanted to talk about a topic that's pretty familiar to everyone. Spawning on the weak side of your team and dealing with the strong side of the enemy flank. This is a textbook example. It's me, a Republic, and a Des Moines seemingly sailing off to our doom over by A point, whereas every single person on my team, all 9, except for the Ognivoy, he's AFK, they've decided to go C point. So we know C is going to be a win for us right off the bat. At least it should be, based on the deploy of the enemy already. Because we've already got 3 ships that are closer to A than they were closer to C. So our team should have the numbers. But yet there is someone attempting to capture C point. Why is there someone attempting to capture the C point? I'm going to talk about his strategy as well as mine. You have no chance. I know that the aircraft carrier on your team has scouted because I see him flying over, and yet he still refuses to leave C point and live to fight another day. He's gonna, last stand of the Mohicans or the Alamo. He's not leaving until he's dead, and he's gonna die very quickly. So first things first, don't die. Don't waste your life like that. Check the deploy and realize, oh crap, I'm actually on the flank, the primary flank of the enemy. And no matter how good you are, you'll still be on the primary flank of the enemy, outnumbered. And playing the game outnumbered, it's harder than playing 1 versus 1, clearly. But it is possible to do. Now back to us. The enemy aircraft carrier is trying to spot, all the potential targets in this area. You can see the torpedo bomber, who's flying over the AFK Ognivoy as I speak. And I can just quite clearly see, with help of the friendlies, either the DDs or the aircraft carriers, we've got a lot of issues. Enemy DD finally died. Big surprise, Water's wet, grass is green, the sky's blue. DDs rush towards objectives and they end up at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, it's just, it's something that confirms that the world is spinning on. And it's something that just should never happen. I do it too, but I do it way less than I've ever done, and part of the reason is I'm just more willing to give up the objective early on to understand what the enemy is doing. Understand what the enemy is doing. Don't do something blind. This Des Moines, he did something completely blind, and now he can't get out of the situation. So please, when you spawn, just take quick stock of the amount of ships that could be on your flank, and take a quick stock on how many ships could be on the enemy's flank. And try and put 2 to 2 together. I mean, there's plenty of people that understand this concept, but I'm just trying to reiterate. Don't try to bunker down. That is dead. It is dying, and it will be continuously dying even more with French DDs, Soviet Battleship. You cannot bunker down and rely on line of sight or islands to block anymore. Someone somewhere is going to have the angle, and they're going to be punishing you. And this Des Moines eventually will be punished. Now, I decide, instead of trying to tank with the Des Moines and, hold out for as long as possible, I'm going to do a retreat, an aggressive retreat, where I'm going to maintain good gun accuracy. I'm going to try and hold the corner for as long as possible, knowing full well that the enemy very clearly sees the Des Moines and wants to deal with it. And as I'm using that against them, I'm going to be presented with situations that are, 2, 3 enemy ships firing on my position. But if you maintain good angling, and you're okay being seen and mitigating, and I think battleships really need to move this direction. I mean, I know you love your concealment guys. I know you want to try and hide. We just got Citadel there. But I know you want to do that, but it's just outdated. It just doesn't function very well in the current meta. And I don't think it ever will. So try and, consider, okay, what can I do that will work very well? Well, tank builds work very well regardless. And I think that's the direction you should go. This is a tank build. You're going to see how well it mitigates. But the Des Moines, he's on the corner, and he's already 50% life. And I can just feel the enemy team. Just look at how many. But look at what our team has done on the opposite flank. It's the tale of two cities, right? My team has dedicated defense at A point where we are making the enemy have to consider the possibility that there is a threat. We are actively firing on them. We are not giving this up freely, but we're also not throwing our life away. And it's so easy to do. I know it is so easy to get overextended or whatever, but just understand there's 12 ships per side if the game is fully loaded, and look at where all your teammates happen to be on the map, and assume that the enemy team is probably going to mirror it on the other side. And if you have this assumption, you're already ahead of most players because they don't consider that this is a possibility as well. You know, they're too interested in meeting up with the limbing train and just following in. Well, following in is cute and it's a nice idea, but it doesn't win games. Winning games is crossfiring, helping teammates, finishing targets, capturing objectives. By trying to be in a defensive position, and I am absolutely defensive. I am right at the edge of the map, clearly, and I'm trying to stay as far back with the ability to still engage. I'm not trying to stay here. You can have this, but I'm just trying to stall it so that my team, my powerful flank, is capable of rotating around and sort of splitting the enemy. You'll notice that the enemy team is attempting to try and address the issue. About half of them have split off to stop the progress of my team in and around B point. But we've got the numbers advantage, and quite frankly, we're going to do just fine with the number of teammates that are in and around B. This is where we don't have the numbers advantage, and yet this is where we can have the biggest impact. And oh, by the way, I was expecting the Des Moines to ram. Just a little too short. The Buffalo was able to finish them off, but I got the broadside on the Montana. And I will, fully admit, at this stage, we're doing okay. But it feels a lot better to get a broadside. He valued the kill on the Des Moines greater than his own life. And you can't afford to do that, especially in a situation where you're already down on ships, right? That was a mistake by him. Instead of probably doing a broadside with a Des Moines to blap him out of existence, just take your Montana and aim for the superstructure. Do 10,000 damage, don't go for all or nothing, you guys will kill him, and he takes almost no damage in that situation. Now, we do have a Conqueror and a Buffalo that want to push forward, but I just want to try and maintain some connection with the enemy, force them to have to address either my flank or my teammate's flank, and you'll note that there is a friendly Massachusetts that is moving up to sort of cover this broadside situation the Conqueror is finding himself in. And that's not possible without establishing an engagement. If I'm just merely leaving the flank completely, the Massachusetts probably doesn't have a chance to move in that position to punish the Conqueror, nor is he informed on that. This is just something that needs to happen more frequently by the community at large. You've got to try and address the issue. You can't just run and hide and leave it for someone else. The days of dropping off detection and giving it to someone else, someone else's problem, not my own, sound familiar? They need to be dead, because that is exactly why we have such a one-sided situation going on. I would say probably 50% of my games end in 10 minutes or less, and it is so one-sided by 10 minutes that it's laughable. Nobody wants to play those games, and nobody should. So, obviously we're taking continued damage from the enemies. They have to decide, do they want to fire on me? Do they want to address the Massachusetts? Or do they want to drop off and, sail slowly towards my position? Either way, I win. There's nothing that is good for them here. They're spotted, they're doing damage to me, but they're doing it in such a slow rate that my team can easily outstrip them and beat them in damage. And oh yeah, this Cleveland. He was broadside in my position, and this is something that will develop too. If you are committed to trying to slow down and bog down the flank. Players are just more willing to show side to you because they're distracted by a friendly that might be on another side of the map. And if you force them into different angles, they can't possibly angle against all of you. And yeah, everyone pretty much is gone. The Republic's gone on this flank, but I'm at least existing here, offering myself up to the enemy, and they can take it or not, or I can hit my shots and do damage to them. I'm really pleased with what's going on because my team is doing such a good job. You'll note that the group of the enemy that broke off to try and defend, well, guess what? They're gone. They don't exist. Now, I was tempted to move towards the enemy and really put the pressure on the Conqueror and the Buffalo. I feel pretty confident that there's just too many targets that they have to deal with now. And I want to use my health to try and mitigate some of the damage maybe towards another teammate. So I'm going to commit to at least doing good damage. And I'm just like looking, Massachusetts, there is an island in front of me. Screw it. We're going to go for it. We're going to sail towards the enemy. My heal did get me back up to about 45%. And we did do a great shot on the Conqueror. That is another confidence booster, by the way. If you can get a shot that really makes them feel it from an angle that they didn't expect, it feels great. And the Montana's great for this because of the shell arc. And we land another big shot. This guy's at 500 life or so. I think he's dead. Midway should be easily able to kill him off. And quite quickly, this has dropped into a no-win situation for the enemy. And it's their strategy more than anything else. They gave up the flank without any defense, and we didn't. That's really the only difference that's very noticeable. And it shows. And I can't tell you how many times I get in a situation similar to this, where I am in my battleship, a tanky battleship, and I'm capable of weathering the storm long enough that my team can make a difference somewhere else. And obviously don't be stupid, don't go 1 versus 6. But if you have 1 or 2 players at open water range, it's just as good as if you were hiding behind an island, unspotted. It's not about stopping all damage, it's about stopping the enemy from doing more damage to you than you do to them. That should always be the goal of everyone. And, the team has just done a great job in this game, and we've been able to weather it very well, and I'm hoping to finish off this Buffalo. I see obviously, his engine is knocked out, and he is going to fall. And this is going to be the difference maker, right? We're going to get our win, and it feels great. It feels great to be on the flank of the primary enemy push, and to still weather it, and honestly, to come out on top. We were able to kill them before they could get out. And I just wanted to try and share this and highlight different features of this game because it is a great example of just what the difference a team's decision can make. 2 kills, 2012 base XP, it was really fun. We played a tanky battleship that could weather the storm and help our team win the primary flank. Thanks for watching. If you would like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent and the most relevant uploads. You can also subscribe to the channel. I do daily World of Warships content, how-tos, first impressions, news related to World of Warships. Also, I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.